Presence paves the path to intimacy. That's a discovery that's been happening over and over and over lately in some of my counseling sessions with couples. And I don't know if it was like Valentine's Day recently that has brought this up, but a lot of couples lately have said, you know what, we don't feel as connected as we want to. We're present with each other. We're home in the evenings. We see each other a lot of times, and it's not like everybody's in different places, but they go, how do we feel disconnected even though we're in the same home and around each other often? And so after asking everybody, I said, tell me about your experience. Tell me what it's like being at home. Tell me what your evening looks like. Inevitably somebody would go, and we'd be together, and then I would take a phone call, or I'd say I have some stuff to catch up with at work. Or, sometimes we're just sitting next to each other, but we're both just doom scrolling on our phones, and then we don't really feel connected at all. And so what we started to discover is that there's a lot of distraction in our lives, and we are inundated with distraction after distraction, especially because of technology many times, or just because we have some things that are maybe not prioritized properly, where we're going, I'll allow this thing to come into my life when I have intentional time with my family, and I'll let it distract me from that. But what we started to really get at was that we can't just be physically present with each other. We need to be mentally and emotionally present with each other. And so, I asked the couples, I said, hey, let's do this. I want you to pull up an emotion wheel on Google. So just look for the image, and it's this wheel that's, it has a very small circle, and it talks about emotions, and it just defines it. And it says, one emotion might be anger and sadness or happiness or joy. And then as you get further out, it expands, and it defines that emotion further and further. And I said, hey, why don't you guys do this when you go home? I want you to, a couple times this week, when you guys are around each other and you're present with each other, take some time to be intentional about going, okay, I want to try to understand your emotion. You told me that you were at work and you heard some really cool things. This project went really well. You got positive feedback and you felt praised, and you were happy. You were excited. I want to understand that. Tell me about the excitement. What was it about that felt good? And see if you can dig deeper and understand and carry that with your partner. Like you're mad, you got frustrated. Like, tell me about that. What was it? You were angry. It's more than just, you're angry. What was it about that anger and frustration that you felt at work that was hard for you to manage? Well, I felt belittled, or I felt demeaned by this. Oh, yeah. It sucks when people don't realize and recognize your true worth and your true value, doesn't it? Yeah, that does suck. And so when they were able to do this, they were able to go, oh, you know what? It feels like you're actually more present, because you are. Because it's more than just being physically in the same space. It's understanding and carrying the weight of what it means to be human. We all want to be loved. We all want to be valued. We all want to be known as someone significant or important or worthwhile, that we have meaning and purpose. And so when we're able to dig in there and go, tell me about the emotions you're experiencing today, good or bad, and try to understand those and have a place for them, guess what happens? Our nervous system calms down and we feel safe. We go, oh man, I'm not worried about whether or not I'm valuable here. I'm not worried about whether or not I'm important or seen or understood or heard, because I'm experiencing it. I'm experiencing it because somebody took some time intentionally to not just be present in the same space, but present in a deep, meaningful way. And I feel heard, and I feel understood, and I feel loved. And it was cool to just hear their experiences about going, okay, yeah, that's an important element that I think gets robbed from us many times. If I was being honest, I think our culture and society, there are intentional things that try to disrupt our attention. And we have a hard time being intentional at home because our mind gets caught up with the next meaningless thing after the next meaningless thing. When we just sit there and scroll on reels and lose our focus, and it just takes up our mental space. But how do we start to do that? Because how do we do that at home and go, how do I give my partner intentional presence? Because that produces life. Because that shows somebody that they're loved and they're cared for. And so I just wanted to share that. give you maybe a little insight into what other people are experiencing when they go, you know what, we feel disconnected, but how can we become intentional? Because presence paves the path to intimacy. So how can you take that, maybe go home this week, practice it a couple times and go, I want to get more than just how was your day. I want to understand what the emotions are you're going through, and I want to see if I can carry them and understand them with you. See what that does. See if that creates some change for you. Hope you're doing well. I'll catch you later.